This week, ACM nominations. Who's racked up the most ahead of the awards ceremony? And Jordan Davis joins us from yet another #1 party.
Plus, George Birge has a #1 on his hands coming up on Nashville Insider. We're going to tell you how he's celebrating.
And later, it's an Insider Spotlight. We sit down with Grammy Award winner John McEuen to find out about his latest project.
Hey y'all, it's Matt Stell and you're watching Nashville Insider.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nashville Insider. I'm Casey Mason. Thanks as always for joining us for your weekly roundup of all things country music. All right, well this week we're going to start with the Academy of Country Music and this year's ACM nominations. Well, there are 3 country artists that have been nominated more than anyone else this year. Luke Combs has a whopping 8 nominations, including Single of the Year, Song of the Year, Album of the Year, Male Artist of the Year, and Entertainer of the Year. So pretty much fill in the blank and just say of the year and Luke was nominated. Next up, it's a tie between Morgan Wallen and Megan Moroney, who each have 6 nominations. But interesting to note, Moroney is actually competing for both Female Artist of the Year and New Female Artist of the Year. That's a rarity for a newcomer to achieve. And we also have to mention Cody Johnson, Lainey Wilson, and Chris Stapleton, who all received 5 nominations. The ACM Awards broadcast Thursday, May 16th on Amazon Prime Video. And hey, while we've got awards on the mind, let's move along to the most elite country title of them all, an induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame, alongside the CMA, have announced that this year's inductees will be James Burton, John Anderson, and the late Toby Keith. Burton has been elected into the recording and touring musician category. Anderson will go into the Hall under the Veterans Era category, and the one and only Toby Keith has been elected into the Modern Era category. Well, those musicians have been involved in countless #1 hits, and George Birge has scored his first #1. Nashville Insider's Adam Wartzel found out what his initial reaction was like.
We all have our mind on this guy, George Birge. Congratulations, #1.
What a feeling, man. This has just been surreal. It's something I have dreamed about literally my entire life. I've loved country music. I've loved writing country music. I've loved performing country music, and it's been a dream of mine forever. And to finally cross that finish line and be able to say that I have a #1 song, it's surreal, you know? And having all of these people here to celebrate with us, some of my closest friends, that I also got to write the song with them. So getting to celebrate with everybody that's kind of dug into me and leaned in to get me here, it's just a magic day.
You have been looking like you do. I got my hands and my eyes and my mind on you. I got my mind on you. I got my mind on you.
Every one of these people is part of my story getting here, either supporting me or writing songs with me or helping me work on my craft or pushing me, you know, from a publicity side or a label side. It's wild, everything that went into this song, and to finally say we did it and got to that top of that mountain is it's wild.
Tell us a little bit about the songwriting process for Mind on You. By the way, I love Colt Ford so much.
Yes. So Colt is one of my best friends in the world, and he was one of my earliest believers. Obviously, he's a star in his own right, and he was one of the first people to kind of just put his hand on his shoulder and be like, man, I know you can do this, and I know you're good enough to be here. Just to have that belief from somebody like Colt, it makes you believe in yourself. And so he and I started writing, and Jaron Boyer and Michael Tyler are both hit songwriters in town who bet on me early, and we started writing together. And the day we wrote this song, it just felt like we caught magic. You know, it felt like we caught lightning in a bottle. We even took a picture on the way out of the room. We're like, hey, let's remember this day because this might be something. And it ended up being a little song that could for me. It got me a record deal. It was my first song to go big on the radio. All of a sudden, you know, all these empty bars that I used to play started filling up with people, and they were singing every word back. And now I get to officially call it a #1 song. So having those guys bet on me and write the song with me and be a part of this story, it's just so much fun, man. Yeah.
2-part question. How did you find out the song went #1, and what did you do to celebrate?
So I found out on Thursday, the week before it went #1, that we had basically an insurmountable lead on the chart. The head of my label called me and he was like, hey, are you sitting down? I have something to tell you. And you know, it was the week between Christmas and New Year, so I'm home, I've got nothing to do, and so I'm just sweating it out. I'm watching the chart, I'm like, you know, it's all coming down to this. I'm hoping that it's going to play out, but we don't have any certainty. And when I got that call, I just took such a deep breath and just kind of melted. And I just kind of kept it to myself for almost 15 minutes, you know, just sat there and was like, wow. And then I started calling my mom and dad and my wife, and, you know, everybody came home and we celebrated, and it was just so special. Yeah.
Let's talk about the new single.
So I grew up in Austin, Texas. Obviously, there's no shortage of cowboys in Austin. And the Austin that I grew up in was a little bit more old school. It was dive bars that were dusty and cash only, and they were just very moody. And I wanted to kind of capture one of those nights in a song. And so I had this vision of, you know, guy walking into a bar and seeing a girl by the jukebox, and she's dangerous in her boots and her jeans, and just kind of that chemistry between them. And, you know, like something that you would see in a throwback Austin night. And so I ended up calling it Cowboy Songs, and it's just kind of a description of the bars that I grew up playing as a kid. Yeah.
And it paints the picture really well. I do all of your songs. George Birge, congratulations. Can we have a round of applause for George Birge, everybody? That's for you.
Thanks, Adam. And we quickly go from one #1 party to another. Nashville Insider's Alex Apple got to once again chat with Jordan Davis.
If it feels like deja vu, well, it kind of is. Different location, but we're back for another #1 party with Jordan Davis. This time it's Next Thing You Know. And I wanted to ask you about sustaining success now. It's one thing to attain success, now you're trying to sustain it. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, it's special. You know, I moved to town to be a songwriter, so anything that involves being an artist and you know, with an accolade to it, everyone just feels I'm very grateful for it. So.
But you hear that so much. Like, so you moved to Nashville to be a songwriter.
Yeah.
Obviously now the proof's in the pudding. You're an extremely talented performer in your own right. Did you know that you had that in you, though? I mean, it sounds very humble to say you just came as a songwriter, but
yeah.
like, you and so many others in this town that are just songwriters originally are incredibly talented.
Yeah, I think that the singing comes with it. I think, you know, if you're a songwriter, I think that the performing bone is always there. Mm-hmm. You know, there's nobody that can sell your song better than you because you made it. I feel like the entertaining part is something that I've truly had to work at and worked really hard at it. You know, putting a show together, being able to interact with the crowd for 90 minutes, entertain on stage. Like, that's something that I'm still, you know, learning how to do.
The last time we talked, you said that you might have been hesitant originally to go very lyric forward and lean into a song that you feel so deeply when you listen to it. Yeah. But that speaks to your evolution as an artist, and I'm curious what lyric in that song spoke most to you, because if anyone's listened to it, you know that like there's a little something there that can touch just about anybody.
Yeah. For me, it was the doctor saying, "How you doing there, Dad?" and nobody's ever called you that. Yeah. You know, I still remember the first time, you know, holding my daughter and before getting her, the doctor being like, "Here you go, Dad." Because, you know, people had said, you know, you're going to be a dad, you're going to be a dad. It doesn't hit like when you're in the room and somebody hands you your child.
No question, yeah.
And you get to hold your child for the first time as a dad. That was the one line that just still to this day wrecks me and takes me right back to that moment.
Next thing you know, you're wearing scrubs and a funny white hat, and the doctor saying, "How you doing there, Dad?" and nobody's ever called you that, and you take the drive home slow. Next thing you know.
When you saw this song on paper, did you know it would be a big hit?
I really didn't. You know, I kind of thought the opposite. You know, a lot of times.
Why? How so?
Well, there's no chorus to it.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times in Nashville, you know, there's a little bit of a
rhythm to it
structure.
all? Yeah.
You know, you want a chorus, you want it to be memorable. You want to have a verse, chorus, and you want to kind of give something that they can repeat. And usually, to get a song not cut is you write a song like this. But you know, I mean, I got to say, the guys I wrote this song with are, I mean, it's three of the best songwriters I've ever been in a room with.
Well, Jordan, congratulations on yet another #1. If folks haven't heard, next thing you know, listen to it. You'll feel it deeply in your soul. And congratulations.
Hey,
enjoy the party.
Appreciate
Good to be with
it. Thank
you.
y'all.
Thanks, Alex. Coming up, songwriter Bryce Long explains why working with Randy Houser on Like a Cowboy was so special.
Coming up on Nashville Insider, we're backstage at Hollywood's greatest game shows in Bowling Green, Kentucky with this guy, Bob Eubanks. But we're going to talk about country music with this game show legend.
Grammy award-winning author John McEuen. He puts it all together in this new project I'm going to tell you about. that is coming up after the break.
Welcome back to Nashville Insider. I'm Casey Mason. Well, co-founder of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, John McEuen, has a new project out. And in today's Insider Spotlight, Jeff Womack sits down with McEuen at his home.
Nashville Insider here with the legendary John McEuen in his home studio. Thank you for having us. This is like a mini Country Music Hall of Fame exhibit. This is such a treat for us.
Well, you're welcome.
I want to talk about your latest project. Now, being a second-generation broadcaster, this really spoke to me, the newsman. Would you describe Steve for us and how he inspired you?
Steve was a guy that I didn't know. I was heading to work with the Dirt Band in 1967, and I saw him at a restaurant that I always ate breakfast at, or often whenever I had the money to go eat breakfast and pay for it. But he came in there and he's selling his newspapers. He was working under an adverse situation. He had, I don't know what it was, paraplegic, you might call him. That's what I wanted to get his story out the way I saw it. Because one thing he had from everybody, and I'm talking about the alcoholic leftovers of the music business, 1967, and the wannabe druggies to be, or drugged out ones that were coming, and all doing the same thing, having breakfast, getting ready to start their day. And yet he had something that they didn't have for each other, maybe one or two, but he had everybody's respect.
Take me back to those early days, what you were going through at that time, waiting for the hits to come, going to gigs, and you were the oldest in the group at the time, so you also had to double as the manager.
No, road manager.
Road manager.
My brother was the manager.
Okay.
My brother, William E. McEuen, managed the Dirt Band, made our record deals, and starting with our 5th album, Uncle Charlie, he produced the records. He produced this album, the Will the Circle Be Unbroken, and shot all the photographs. And he shot photographs of the early Dirt Band and the Circle album sessions. Photographs that I put together in a book called Will the Circle Be Unbroken, that features 150 photographs of Bill, that Bill took. And I was road managing because it seemed logical. I was the only one 21. I was the only one old enough to rent a car.
I want to get back to this project, how Tom Hanks inspired it, before I forget.
Well, Tom Hanks, I was proud to meet him at a birthday party one time. It was great. And I walked up to him and says, "Mr. Hanks, I've been, oh, John McEuen." And it's like, yeah. I'm blown away. How come you know my name? You know. And I talked to Tom Hanks, and he liked typing letters, typewriters. He collects typewriters.
Okay.
So I wrote him a letter on a typewriter, and he wrote back on a typewriter, and I wrote it. And this was like in the computer days were here. This is late 1900s. I saw this movie of his, The News of the World, which really came at a perfect time because I had all these tracks for this album, The Newsman. I'd just been assembling them over the years. Some of these tracks are 10 or 12, 15 years old.
I was going to say, it's been a while.
Some are 6 months old. It's time to finish this album. Get your in gear. And so that's how it influenced me.
What keeps you going now? So obviously you got enough awards on here on this wall for insulation.
Well, one thing that keeps me going in life is my wife. That just comes, Marilyn is a wonderful inspiration. And Moonlight Dancing I wrote for her. That's one of people's favorite songs. And Steve the Newsman keeps me going. I still think about him. It's been 55 years.
John McEuen, thank you so much. Make sure that you go out and get Newsman. It's available, so many great stories.
Listen, if you get this album and you don't like it, send it back to me and I'll send you an album I don't like.
You can't beat an offer like that, folks. You've been so generous with your time and having us in your home studio. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Well, after the break, it's Inside the Song, how Randy Houser's Like a Cowboy became a hit.
Plus, a game show legend with a country music background. We're going to talk to Bob Eubanks coming up.
Welcome back, everybody. It's once again time for Inside the Song, and this week, hit songwriter Bryce Long explains why Like a Cowboy was written for a voice like Randy Houser.
Randy was leaving a record deal and had interest in getting another one from some labels here in town, and he needed, he needed some songs, and he needed, to go in and cut some new stuff and try to get a new record deal. And he called me and said, hey man, let's get together and write some songs. And so we did. We got together, and the coolest part about writing with Randy is he always waits on it. He doesn't just jump in and go for the first idea. He really wanted to wait on it and make sure it was the right thing that we were going to spend our time writing that day. And we had walked down and got something to eat from where we were writing and came back, and I remember him saying, it's always cool how Garth and George had cowboy songs on their records, and that song we just started, just kind of fell out, and I know Randy was, he was coming from a place of being gone a lot on the road. He was, at that time, he was out, burning it up and being gone a lot, and he was coming from that part of when we were writing that song, and I grew up team roping and stuff and around that rodeo world, and it was just fun to write because it kind of married both worlds, what it was like to be, rodeoing or an artist out there, running up and down the highway and being gone from home and somebody you love, and it's every time I hear him sing it, I'm just blown away. If there was I feel like there was a song that was meant for a voice, it was Like a Cowboy and Randy.
I'll ride in on a sunny day, sing you a song, steal your heart away like a cowboy. Hang my hat like I'm here for a while, kick off my boots and drive you wild like a cowboy.
Being here as long as I have, I've written with a lot of artists and a lot of other writers, and there's, for whatever reason, there's just ones that you happen to connect with and have success with, and you do your best to go back to those, wells, because you always seem to find something special. And Randy and I really had that kind of relationship, I feel like. We've written a lot of songs together. He's cut a lot of songs we've written. He's cut songs that, of mine that he didn't write, but and John as well. He's done the same thing. We've written a ton of stuff together, and I just feel like there's certain guys or girls that you just connect with on a love of the same kind of music or the same kind of ideas. You kind of come from somewhere you can, the same kind of places, and because it seems to me like every time I write something that there's a part of me in it, and it's real, it seems to find its way to, getting on a record or getting on the radio.
My name is Adam Wurtzel, and I'm so proud to say this is my good friend, Bob Eubanks. We're going to talk to this incredible game show legend about his country music career. That's right after the break.
Welcome back, I'm Casey Mason. Well, he's a game show legend who simultaneously had a career in country music. Nashville Insider's Adam Wurtzel is backstage with Bob Eubanks.
Bob Eubanks, so nice to see you. From
Thank
backstage here in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Just a few steps away from Nashville. What are we doing back here today?
Well, we're doing, Hollywood's Greatest Game Shows. It's a game show that we use about 42 contestants. Someone has a chance to win $1 million, and it's a lot of fun. And you've been with me for a long time, haven't you?
I have gotten it as an honor to share the stage with you as your co-host. I mean, I could talk to you about game shows forever, but we're talking about country music. At first, I want to ask you about Merle Haggard, because you worked with Merle for a long time. Where'd you meet Merle?
Well, what happened was, I was in the rock and roll business, did the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and all of the rock guys. And I was raised with country music. My parents were from a little town right near Springfield, Missouri, and So country music was mine. So I got out of the rock and roll business, and Haggard happened to be over at Capitol Records, and I went to see him, and I said, Merle, I want to represent you. So long story short, I ended up producing all of his live events for 10 years.
Wow.
And he and I never had a cross word. He was wonderful to deal with.
And you were friends with him till the day he passed.
Oh yeah, you know, Merle and I have never told anybody this.
Oh boy, exclusive.
Merle and I had an agreement that we could tell each other anything and it would never get past us.
Wow.
And it won't.
But you've worked with other country artists over the years.
You know, George and Tammy, and my success in country music led me to the management. And so I ended up managing Dolly Parton for 2 years. She was wonderful. Barbara Mandrell for a while. I did have a good time, but then television led me, you know, away, I guess. And but I've had a wonderful time with country music.
But TV led you to country music as well, because you hosted Primetime Country on TNN for a little bit. Yeah.
I hosted Primetime Country, and my favorite radio station is Willie Nelson.
Oh, on Sirius XM.
Yeah, Sirius XM. Willie's Roadhouse.
Do you listen to the Grand Ole Opry from time to time?
Yeah, sure I do. I had a good time with the country music folks. I really did. Merle used to tell me stories. You know, he spent 2 years and 9 months in St. Quentin. And I remember he told Johnny Cash, he says, you know, John, the first time I saw you, I got in free. And John said, did you sneak in? And Hag said, no, I was put in.
Bob, it's always a pleasure. You make me laugh after all these years.
We've been friends a long time, and I love working with you, and you do everything good.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, thanks so much, Adam. Well, that about does it for us today here on Nashville Insider, and we leave you with a new duet. It's Connor Smith featuring Haley Witters and Roulette on the Heart. I'm Casey Mason, and we'll see you next time.
Are you trying to love me? Are you trying to kill me? Every night with you is a shot in the dark. You touch me with a whisper, kiss me like a stranger. Holding somebody shouldn't be this hard. Oh, and I know this game is one of two ways. Are you gonna break me? Are you gonna save me? Loving you, baby, is roulette on the heart.